Hello everyone, this is Crota giving you a shoutcast, and oops, let me get ahead and pull that back up. This is going to be a shoutcast between Killer versus Illusion here on Antigua Shipyard. First of all, let's see what this is going to be. It is not the gold mineral patches in the center, so it could be forced cross spawns, and it looks like it is based upon the setup and how these overlords, or how this overlord is already moving out. Apparently, Chris and Philippe know each other very well. It is going to be Killer versus Illusion. Both players very familiar. If you at least do not recognize the names of the players, you should recognize the names of the team. MD and Vile, two very strong, not like the best teams, but I would say perhaps some of the better foreigner teams out there. And when I say foreigner, I pretty much mean non-Korean, as that is what foreigner seems to mean now in the StarCraft and StarCraft 2 community. Now, we'll see what the openings will be. It is going to be a front door supply depot being added. We'll see if Illusion goes for an 11 or 12 racks. Most likely it will be a standard 12 racks, and then perhaps trying to go into a 13 cast into Reactor Hellions. Meanwhile, Zerg can really macro up, and it really feels like Zerg has been getting stronger and stronger as more players learn how to play Zerg. Getting the timings down, knowing when you can drone versus knowing when you can, when you're forced to create units, and knowing that balance, and really gives Zerg players a really strong upper hand in terms of the overall economic portion of the game. I've said it in the past, I'll say it again. Zerg can get up to 200 food the fastest out of all the races, while still throwing or having some very good base defense. Now, taking a look at inside Illusion's base, Illusion has not set up a refinery, and this is very interesting, as now a drone is going to go ahead and take a look. This drone, however, now may sneak away, and Killer, oh, this is going to be bad news indeed. He came in, didn't see a refinery, and only to see Illusion place down a refinery right after the drone left. There is still an overlord here. We'll see what Killer is going to do. The delayed... Excuse me. The delayed refinery could be part of some unique build. I'm not quite sure the timing or the reasoning behind a 15 refinery. You will delay your factory, but perhaps you will be able to get more Marines and then go into a faster command center. We'll see how all this works out, as an overlord now going to park itself off over here, and we'll see what site or information it will gather, as an SCV will gather some minerals and then place down a command center. So it is going to be a command center now, and it is, the timing on this is fairly strong, or a pretty good timing. You could see that the command center is coming in around the 4-minute mark. The hatchery is already completed, but we already have 100 gas and a factory coming in at that 4-minute mark as well. You can take a look at Killer. Killer did spot that refinery, though. Perhaps he did click on it, and now Killer's thinking, okay, that refinery wasn't there before. Maybe he is going to be going into heavy tech play. He needs to see what this other refinery is. And this is probably a really strange situation for Zerg, not really getting a full picture of what the Terran player is doing. Harvester count, though, 20 compared to 21. We are getting in now double barracks. We are also going in for a reactor, so Illusion will be able to get double Hellions in just a moment, and then perhaps transition into something else, as 3 Marines able to shut down and shoot down an overlord here. SCV and a Marines trying to go battle up against some Zerglings. The SCV is tanking a lot of that damage, and once again, Vile playing Illusion playing very well, getting in a lot of damage already without suffering any losses himself. So you can see that 225 versus 0, more Zerglings are going to be forced to be trained, and that is not what Killer wants to do. Killer wants to be able to just pump out drones, but he also needs to be able to replace those units, as an overlord does spot the Hellion. Funny that Illusion is just straight up trying to hide his Hellion, and he straight up hit it right underneath an overlord, and now Killer going to lose another overlord. So 2 overlords now going to get shot out of the sky, as we are training up more and more units there. It is only going to be 1 Hellion, as the Hellion has to play it very safe. No, not going to be able to make it away. as there are Zerglings out now with metabolic boost. The Hellions perhaps going to try to line up, getting in even more kills there. Not very good follow-up play by Illusion, as we can see that an engineering bay has been or will be completed. Taking a look at the losses, Zerg still slightly higher, but I think if Vile didn't push out, he would have been in a much better situation, holding on to those Marines and waited until he got stim. Now, Killer is going for that in-base hatchery here, and an in-base hatchery that somewhat blocks the ramp, making it a little bit more difficult for Hellions to drive up that ramp. And this is a strategy that Zerg players have really embraced. A lot of times you see a Zerg player, they think, okay, my opponent has taken his natural expansion, I need to get up an expansion as well. Well, a lot of Zerg players, when they get into those expansion wars, end up losing because they try to cover too much ground too quickly. Setting up a macro hatch here is very, very strong. He'll be able to saturate his bases more easily and still have enough larvae to train up units, and then perhaps sometime around the 10 to 12 minute mark look to take his third base here up on the high ground. Stim and Combat Shield now being researched. Hellions are still being added, and very interesting that Hellions are being added with single, just one at a time. Not too much happening there, as we now see a bunker and level 1 weapons upgrade. Hellions looking to make a move across the field, gonna be able to torch some Zerglings, but now that's not looking good. The Zerglings are gonna try to split, able to do so. A lot of damage has been had, and ooh, the Hellions deciding to push through the offense on those Zerglings, and the Hellions may be able to get over there in time and now finish off more of those Zerglings. More Zerglings are getting taken down, as we now see it is 2 bases to 2 bases. Zerglings now going to run up onto that high ground here, as we now see a squadron of Marines on the move. Now the Marines do have Combat Shield, will be getting Stim as well in just a second, in addition to level 1 weapons upgrade. An Illusion going to hit a very strong timing here, as we now see the Spine Crawler has just been completed. Spine Crawler with level 2 armor, very, very powerful, or 2 base armor, very powerful at dealing with those Marines, essentially reducing the amount of these Marines deal, or the damage that they deal, by over, I would say, 15%. Hellions now making their way forward. In comes the units. This is all being revealed as Killer does spot this here, and now here we go, gonna fight up, but this is gonna be bad. The Marines need to be very careful. Some damage being held. That Spine Crawler will be destroyed. The Hellions now leading the way, has to be careful here, as the Zerglings and now the Marines need to split up. This is looking very, very bad, as the Hellions were left caught on the ramp once more, and only 2 Hellions here. Illusion thinking twice about trying to engage. He needs to have very good Marine split in order to minimize the damage that those Banelings are able to deal. And now he is backing off with these units. The Zerglings look to perhaps flank, and will it be enough as the Marines get off another more pop shots onto the back of those groups of units there, as the Banelings are now trying to find their target. Are they going to find anything at all? The Banelings do have movement speed now, but they are pretty much detonated and not really hitting that many targets. This one Baneling off over here, it looks like it will suicide and take down 1 Marine. Not a good trade, but it looks like the Zerglings are going to clean up this batch of Marines, as the Marines are upgraded 1-0 with 2-1 upgrades underway, in addition to level 1 vehicle upgrades. So far, Killer behind in terms of his economy. He cannot stay on this many bases for that long. He does have his macro hatch, but he still needs to expand, as the Marines are all going to get cleaned up now. You can now see Killer also re-establishing all of these creep tumors on the map. A hatchery will be placed down here at the 6 o'clock position, as Killer now transitions into the mid-game. Marines and Marauders on the move. Starport double training medevacs. Illusion now going very heavy in the barracks. Little questioning on this particular base setup. Units can get trapped in between these buildings. You have to be very careful. Thor now being added in addition to Siege Tech, and we'll see what's going to be happening, as apparently they're all going to get realigned and repositioned anyways. A fungal growth does go down, and a chain fungal growth, as multiple Marines will get destroyed. There they go, another fungal growth coming in. Some infested Terrans are trying to be had as well. It looks as though those infested Terrans may finish off all that medevac, and really well played by Killer, utilizing Infestors to deal with that 2 medevac Marine grouping. Now, Marines running their way off to the north, doesn't see anything at all. Orbital Command will be landing. It will be 3 bases to 3 bases. Harvester count 63 to 60, SCV is not going to be able to make it out. Are the Banelings even going to try to do an attack there? Oh, I would hope not, as the Zerglings are going to be able to catch up to that SCV and destroy it. Zerglings still hiding off on the low ground here. One Marine up on the high ground. SCVs all transferred. Now we'll see how many mules will be called in, as both sides are sitting at about 110 food. Both of these players now looking to just build up a large army and move out, utilizing splash damage and being able to destroy their opponent first. Siege tanks with that very, very long 13 range, very powerful as we see this game get underway. Engineering bays are done upgrading. We'll see what Vile Illusion's going to be doing with the siege tanks here. A lot of production buildings coming in from Illusion, as we have a medevac and Marines unload and going to destroy some overlords. One overlord will quickly fall here, but a pack of Marines has been destroyed. There are Banelings also burrowed all across the map, so this is going to be very, very of a tricky situation. Are those Marines, what are they going to do? They're going to try to make their way up. Infestors do spot up here on the high ground. The Infestors could try to get a fungal growth, as the Infestors are now burrowed and simply just going to wander away. Medevac does fly by a couple overlords. Killer should be able to respond to this very easily. There you go. Zerglings now swarming over. Will be able to get it, but I think the Marines are just going to get let off here. Shoot down this overlord, but the overlord is already on the move with that movement speed upgrade. Double expanding into the center and into the 9 o'clock location for Killer. It is going to be 5 bases now compared to the 4 bases of Illusion. Marines are now trying to take down as many overlords, cleaning up the field now. And now this one group of Marines has to be very, very careful, as Zerglings and Banelings are going to make their way up. What's going to happen? Infestors are now up. There's some infested Terrans. There's a fungal growth. No chance to escape. And now infested Terrans finishing off the medevac as well. Killer with a smaller army, but still exchanging very well, as Illusion is now behind in total resources lost. Illusion now looking to move forward and take out this expansion here. It looks as though it was already canceled. My mistake for not catching that earlier, as Zerglings and Banelings are now trying to push in, but getting shelled apart by siege tanks once more. There are Banelings off over here. Banelings should be placed down over here as well. We'll see what's going to be happening, as the Banelings could easily detonate to destroy a lot of units. Command center will be landing off in the center of the map here, and now it looks like Illusion will have 4 bases to 4 once more. One Thor getting caught out of position. There's some infested Terrans as well, preventing the landing of the orbital or the command center, as a fungal growth hits off across a group of Marines. The Marauders not able to do very much of anything, as those Zerglings do get a little bit slowed but aren't suffering all too much damage. Center tower, you can see that the Infestors are looking to perhaps scoot their way forward. All of these Infestors are very low on energy, and also some of them very low on hit points. This is going to be a very difficult way to try to utilize this effectiveness at all. The Infestors perhaps could have dropped drop a larva egg in the sea of those units there, as we now see Infestors with triple Marines, infested Marines now taking down multiple Marines over here. You're going to see it happen again, as we're going to have 3 groups of infested Marines constantly being unloaded. Zerglings are establishing back at that 4 o'clock starting location. Marines now looking to perhaps sweep up and clear out more bases. Killer may end up losing this expansion at the 9 o'clock location, as Illusion already has a planetary fortress in the center, and now Marine's gonna finish off this hatchery here well before any more units can be trained. It looks like a swarm will be coming in from the far side. Zerglings now gonna try to surround and take this down. It looks like they will be able to do exactly that, but how much damage can be dealt? The Infestors and the Ultralists need to break and take down this expansion if any hope is to be had. Drones now making their way off over here, as this hatchery was destroyed. Marines getting there in time. So right now it is still 4 bases to 4 bases, as infested Terrans are now sitting inside the main base, destroying SCVs. Harvester worker count 20 already killed. You can still see there's another Infestor here. It could drop a lot of infested Terrans, as well as we are now getting in some missile turrets. The missile turret will be completed, I believe. No real problem whatsoever. Missile turrets build very quickly as we now see the Infestors off over here and a couple idle units. Ultralisk, Infestors, Zerglings all sitting off on the left, perhaps waiting to lie, just waiting for an attack here at the center planetary fortress. Hatchery about to be completed. Drones should be able to start mining as more larva eggs have been let go and units are backing off. Now, I do believe, yes, Illusion does spot this one Infestor here. For some reason, he is deciding to not take it out just quite yet, as there are Infestors also inside the base of Illusion. We'll see what Illusion's going to do with these units. Perhaps slip back down, and oh, the missile turret right there by Illusion, allowing sight and destruction. Marines now making their way in, but that's going to be a very bad day. The hatchery does fall, but the Marines are all going to get cleaned up very, very easily there. Down they go, all destroyed in a matter of seconds, as Killer should be rebuilding that hatchery at the 9 o'clock location and has a hatchery over here at the 3 o'clock location. Spine crawlers now being added as well. You can see that siege tanks, Marines, and one Marauder making the trek all the way down. The spine crawlers should be completed in time, as siege tank now up on the high ground. Ultralisk now looking to push in. The Ultralisk, chomping on a Marine one at a time. That is not good news, as the Ultralisk now deciding to come back in to engage. What is the Ultralisk going to do? He just needs to attack, doesn't attack. The AI just spacing out as we now have an attack on the planetary fortress. Ultralisk able to chomp through many of this, and now SCVs have been destroyed as well. Harvester count, or food count, 149 versus 198. As it is 3 bases to 3 bases once more. This hatchery has been destroyed. Vile, though, with a much larger army, should be able to destroy this last spine crawler here. Hatchery is being rebuilt, all on the left side, and it is going to be 3 bases to 3. Illusion definitely has a stronger army at this stage, but if this game goes any longer, Killer should be able to replenish his forces. Drones now making their way off to the north. Are the drones going to get caught, as we now see one extractor has been destroyed? Zerglings and Ultralisk running along the far side here. And now, just Ultralisk going to chomp away at some siege tanks. The units need to back off. No, they're not going to back off. Instead, going to destroy these backdoor destructible rocks. There is one spine crawler here. All of these drones not doing anything, though, as this game still up for the taking, but Illusion very much in the lead now, especially with this many siege tanks holding the center ground. Drones now attempting to make a run for it. This hatchery will fall. More and more drones making a run for it again, but I believe the siege tanks will get easy shots off on these drones and take them all down. Infestor able to take down one siege tank, but getting destroyed in the process, using the infested Terrans to cause some splash damage among these tanks. Still, Killer has this one Infestor here. It hasn't been spotted, it hasn't been seen in quite some time, and Killer could essentially take down multiple SCVs with just this one Infestor. We'll see how this is all going to work out. The Zerglings are upgraded 3-3. The Queens are upgraded 0-3, so no weapons upgrade on the missile attacks, as we now see units are looking to charge in and snipe down the spawning pool. A Queen now needs to make its way over. The Queen now taking a lot of damage. Zerglings running away from the fight. Down goes the Queen here, as an Overlord keeping track of what's happening in the center, and right now this is Illusion's game to lose. Only if he makes a critical mistake will he end up losing this game, as infested Terrans are now being spawned amongst the group here. Multiple Infestors all getting destroyed, and now the infested Terrans also getting handled by the Marines and the Marauders, and I believe this will be GG soon, as Illusion now triple his opponent's food count. Overlord's now looking to back away. One Overlord down, a second Overlord may fall as well. Illusion just trying to take every small victory that he can, but he knows that Killer trying to take every small victory that he can, but he knows he can't keep up, and there is the GG. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening.